Hello everyone, this is Louisim and welcome to another speed build. In this video I am doing an underwater villa which I am building here in Sulani. I wanted it to feel like it's part of the island and maybe they just dug up in the middle of the island to get to the sea level and build their home there. So I'm just trying to make it look like it's part of the environment and getting a lot of debug items that look the same as the ones in the world, so that it just blends in perfectly. Now I was inspired to do another underwater home. I have already made one, even though it's an alien underwater house. I will link that one in the description, but I wanted to do something more normal and I went for a modern house. I also have a lot of items from island living in there to give it that Sulani vibe. So I am pretty proud of the interior, but the main idea of the underwater homes, I actually was inspired by some other creators. I have seen on YouTube some amazing underwater homes, and I just wanted to do another one by myself. The one that I did initially, at that time I didn't have island living, so I had to improvise and use a lot of items that came with mostly get to work, because it was also an alien build. But yeah, I didn't have a lot of the coral reefs or anything of that matter, so now it was way easier, even though in this build compared to the last one I didn't go overboard with the underwater plants. I mostly focused on the home itself. Right, so I'm trying to figure out the way you can enter the house, and I have built this bridge. Also the stairs are right there, but I don't really like the fact that the stairs are outside, and in a normal situation that would mean you would always get water every time it rains and a lot of dirt. So I had to place them there eventually, because there's not really a great way to access the house otherwise. I could have gone 2 levels down and then back up to go underneath the pool, but I felt like that would be just too much, and every time you would exit the house it would take a really long time. But I also really wish we had like ladders in the game or something like that. I think that would have helped definitely. Maybe I would have just put a ladder in. I could also just have made enclosed space just for the entrance, but I didn't really kind of wanna ruin the shape of the house and the fact that all of it is underwater, and I wanted to keep the surface flat. Now I'm trying to figure out how to do the roofing. I tried a bunch of different approaches, but I didn't really like the way they looked with the that glass roof over there. It was glitching really weirdly. You can probably see it there, like you could see through the walls, and I didn't like the way it looked. So I tried to use the glass dance floors from I believe Get Together, but I ended up swapping those at one point with flooring that's transparent from Island Living actually. I'm now going to take a short break, and I will see you back when we start furnishing. So I'm starting with the landing area, and I figured this would be a great place to hang your coat and maybe give yourself a check in the mirror before you leave the house. So I just put a couch and some mirrors, a bunch of those hallway items, I would say. Now for the rest of the house, I went for mostly light colors. I really love that wood that came with cats and dogs, and that light wood color. I also wanted to use these chandeliers from the fitness stuff pack. I recently bought it because it was on sale, and not gonna joke, I bought it just for those lights. I didn't really care about most of the items, so except for these lights, and I felt like they would fit in really nicely in this build. Right, so I'm now doing the bathroom over here. This is a common bathroom because I have two bedrooms, and each has their own private bathroom. So this one would be, I guess, for some guests or anyone that comes over. I also wanted to use that season sink, but it's so frustrating because it has that sort of counter at the bottom, but none of the counters in the game fit the color scheme. Those from Island Living actually fit the style, but they do not fit the colors, so I could not use that one. Right, so now I finally found that roof transparent glass object that I just put everywhere because I liked it so much more than what we currently had. I am just doing some adjustments now to accommodate those new skylights. And I love the way the light looks in this house. I think it's so pretty, especially during daytime. You can see all those shadows from outside, and also through all these the windows down the sides of the house. It's just so pretty and so lit up. Right, so I'm trying to figure out where to place each room. Where I wanted to put the living room, the shape was a bit weird, so I was just looking around trying to see how I can make this work. I ended up putting the couches and the TV in this corner right here by the entrance. I think at one point I ended up moving the door further back into the room so it doesn't really just crowd up even more this tiny living space. I think I'm just moving around a few of the objects to just move the door further back, so I have more space to put I think I put some Island Living chairs, yeah, those ones. Because I wanted it to be modern but just not go over the top with it. I wanted a few island elements here and there, so you will see a lot of those patterns that kind of came with Island Living. Yeah, so a little desk over there, and I've also placed a window down so you could see outside. And this is pretty much it for the living room, I believe. I think it's quite alright. It's not my favorite room out of the house, but I think for the weird space that I had to use, it ended up quite okay. And I also love the glass sliding doors that I put on that side, that where you can go to the rest of the house. I think it just opens up the space even more. Yeah, so this room was just hard to figure out, so I'm still trying, but I think we're pretty close to what the end result is. Right, so we are now moving to the kitchen. and I wanted this big wall of just kitchen counters and everything you'd need. I also used those counters from Island Living, and I love them so much. I think they're just exactly what I needed. They're modern, but also the end bits have these island patterns that I really like. And also this wallpaper, I used it in a lot of places and I love it so much. I think it also came from the fitness stuff pack, so I lied. Those lights weren't the only thing that I liked in that pack. Just sometimes I just remember random stuff, so that's why we suddenly switched to the outside to place a mailbox in and the bin. I actually placed the bin here because it would just take way too long for your Sims to go from here all the way down up to the bin outside, so it's just easier this way. And it also blends in quite well, that bin, with the rest of the kitchen. I put the island in sort of the middle of the room there, and I like the way it turned out. I used these top chairs from Tiny Living. A lot of light wood is coming into this kitchen, and it's not stopping here. There's more, but I do like the way it looks, just white and light brown. I think it's just so summery, and it gives it that beach vibe. I also placed this big table on the side there, and initially I wanted it to have chairs all the way, but the space was a bit limited, and this way I could actually move it closer to the window so you can just look outside at all the fishes and enjoy your meal. And I think this is pretty much it for the kitchen. I really love that area. Oh, and we're just moving right back to the outside. I just find these random items when going through the catalog, and I'm like, oh, that would do really well in that part of the house. So I'm sorry if it's a bit jumpy sometimes, because I would just do a room and then just completely go in another direction because I just found a cool item. So I believe we are pretty much done with this room, maybe just a few finishing touches, and then we will move to the bedrooms. I am now doing the bedroom, and I used this bed from Island Living. I think it's a really pretty item and it fits really well with this build, although I don't think I would use it in another build that's not island oriented, but it is perfect for this one. I also put in a vanity table because this bedroom is quite big and I didn't really know what to put in it to make use of all that extra space. So I just put this vanity table. I find it really hard to furnish bedrooms sometimes because there's not really much you can place in a bedroom, especially if you already have like a living room or a study that kind of gives you all the objects you would need in a build. So sometimes it is a struggle to furnish bedrooms because like you place a bed, you put some side tables, maybe a dresser, and that's sort of it. But for a room that's this big, I had to figure out some other objects to place in. So I put that vanity table and that bookcase, although there is still a lot of empty space in the middle, but I didn't really know what to do about it. But other than that, I think this bedroom is quite nice, and I love the shadows that are casted through those skylights. So now we are moving on to a tiny bathroom that is the bathroom for the kids' bedroom. So in this house you can have like 2 adults and 2 children, although you can easily change this room up and I don't know, maybe use it for teenagers or roommates or anything else that you'd like. But for this room I went for more fun colors and mostly pink and blue and more kids stuff, but I also didn't want to go overboard with colorful stuff, so I just kept it a bit muted but with a few colors here and there. Now in this bedroom I put a desk in because that's where I figured they would do their homework. And I also decided this to be a room for 2 children, especially for the same reason that I told you before, because it would just be too much empty space otherwise. This room is also quite big, and especially if you only have a single bed, that's just a lot of space that would be empty, and I didn't really know what to put. I also use that wallpaper with the leaves that I like a lot. I'm really kind of mad that we don't really have a clean swatch for that wood paneling that comes with it, but I could sneak it in on some walls here and there. Yeah, so we are again just putting some finishing touches in. But we are towards the end of this speed build. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't hesitate to leave your feedback in the comments below. If you'd like this, please make sure to leave a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel, I make new videos every week, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!